Usually my father was off to work before Sandy and I were awake, and my mother would be up early to eat breakfast with him and to make our lunch sandwiches and wrap them in wax paper and put them in the refrigerator, and then would herself leave for work after seeing that we too were ready for school. The following day, however, my father didn't leave for his office until he'd had a chance to clarify for Sandy why he was not going to the White House and why he was no longer to participate in any program sponsored by the OAA. These friends of von Ribbentrop, he explained to Sandy, are no friends of ours. Every dirty scheme that Hitler has foisted on Europe, every filthy lie he has told other countries, has come through the mouth of Mr. von Ribbentrop. Someday you'll study what happened at Munich. You'll study the role that Mr. von Ribbentrop played in tricking Mr. Chamberlain into signing a treaty that wasn't worth the paper it was written on. Read PM about this man. Listen to Winchell about this man. Foreign Minister von Ribbensnob, Winchell calls him. You know what he did for a living before the war? Sold champagne. A liquor salesman, Sandy. A fake, a plutocrat, and a thief, and a fake. Even the von in his name is fake. But you know none of this. You know nothing about von Ribbentrop. You know nothing about Göring. You know nothing about Goebbels and Himmler and Hess, but I do know. Did you ever hear about a castle in Austria where Herr von Ribbentrop wines and dines with the rest of the Nazi criminals? Know how he got it? He stole it. The nobleman who owned it, Himmler, threw into a concentration camp, and now it is the property of the liquor salesman. Do you know where Danzig is, Sandy, and what happened to it? Do you know what the Treaty of Versailles is? Did you hear of Mein Kampf? Ask Mr. von Ribbentrop. He'll tell you, and I will tell you too, though not from the Nazi point of view. I follow things and I read things, and I know who these criminals are, son, and I am not allowing you anywhere near them. I'll never forgive you for this, Sandy replied. But you will, my mother said to him. One day you'll understand that what Daddy wants for you is only what's in your best interest. He's right, dear, believe me, you have no business with such people. They are only making you their tool. Aunt Evelyn? Sandy asked. Aunt Evelyn is making me into a tool? Getting me invited to the White House? That's making me into a tool? Yes, my mother said sadly. No, that isn't true, he said. I'm sorry, but I can't let Aunt Evelyn down. Your Aunt Evelyn, my father told him, is the one who let us down. Just folks, he said contemptuously. The only purpose of this so-called just folks is to make Jewish children into a fifth column and turn them against their parents. Bullshit, Sandy said. Stop that, my mother said. Stop that right now. Do you realize that we're the only family on the block going through anything like this? The only family in this entire neighborhood? Everybody knows by now. Just to continue living as they were living before the election and to forget who the president is. And that's what we're doing too. Bad things have happened, but now they're over. Alvin is gone, and now Aunt Evelyn is gone, and everything is going to get back to normal. And when are we moving to Canada? Sandy asked her. Because of your persecution complex. Pointing his finger, my father said, Don't mimic your stupid aunt. Don't talk back like that ever again. You're a dictator. Sandy said to him. You're a dictator worse than Hitler. Because my parents had each been raised in a household where an old country father did not hesitate to discipline his children in accordance with traditional methods of coercion, they were themselves incapable of ever hitting Sandy or me, and disapproved of corporal punishment for anyone. Consequently, all my father did in response to being told by a child that he was worse than Hitler was to turn away in disgust and leave for work. But he was hardly out the back door when my mother raised her hand and, to my astonishment, smacked Sandy across the face. Do you know what your father has just done for you? She shouted at him. Don't you understand yet what you are about to do to yourself? Finish your breakfast and go to school, and you be home when school is over. Your father laid down the law. You better obey it. He didn't flinch when she hit him, and now, all resistance, he undertook to enlarge his heroism by brazenly telling her, I'm going to the White House with Aunt Evelyn. I don't care whether you ghetto Jews like it or not. To add to the morning's ugliness, to add to the nerve-shattering implausibility of all our disorder, she made him pay in full for his filial defiance by dealing him a second blow, and this time he burst into tears. And had he not, this prudent mother of ours would have raised her gentle, kindly mothering hand and hit him a third, a fourth, and a fifth time. She doesn't know what she's doing, I thought. She's somebody else. Everybody is. And I grabbed my school books and ran down the back stairs to the alleyway and out to the street. And, as if the day weren't already gruesome enough, there was Selden waiting on the front stoop to walk me to school. And that is where we will pause.